Good evening, Niagara Falls. This is our very first show of Niagara Graffiti with Shawn Levick. I am Shawn Levick, of course. Tonight we have my good friend Tim Heather.
Heater.
Well, it just kind of sounds like a pool cue name.
I've been called worse. It's okay.
And of course we have Mr. Peter Green working the tables in the back there. How you doing tonight, Peter?
Yeah, I'm doing great here. We'll come on camera in a little while, but great to be here, Shawn. Welcome.
Hey, I appreciate you, Peter. Thank you very much. Let me first start out by saying today is July 9th. It's also my second oldest son's 19th birthday, Anthony.
Anthony, happy birthday.
Wonderful kid. I also have my fifth child here, Jackson. I have so many, I lose count. I just number them.
Needs a tour bus for Father's Day.
Get them by position. What position they
Terrible. Buffets are fun. Buffets are fun.
We got a couple of people watching on Facebook Live. We got Miss Lori Jo Pello, and we also have Barb Boland is on here with Grim. Hello, ladies. Hello. Grim.
Miss Lori and Miss Barb, how are y'all tonight? What should we start off with, Tim?
Let's start
National
off
Anthem?
We can do that.
Tim, I think you should sing.
Oh no, let's not do that.
That's not going to happen.
Oh, come on.
We're not going to kill your speakers or the microphones. What we could start off with is call-in number. Put up the number so if people want to call in.
Yeah,
we'll definitely field some phone calls. The phone number is going to be on the screen momentarily. That number is 716-990-3934. Don't ask how I know that because that's my personal cell phone number. And anybody's welcome to call in whenever you'd like because I am one of those guys that likes to help people.
And he's going to be getting calls at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning for random stuff.
That's normal.
Well, as most people know, I'm a rather good Facebook troll, but
Very dedicated.
very, very dedicated. I wake up early to make memes, but
The
that's
meme master.
definitely not what I aim to do with all this.
Meme to do.
I think that I would prefer to focus on a lot of the positive, but without getting to the positive, you can't get the negative. I guess is the best way to put it.
Let's talk about one of the things you're getting to be very well known about there, Mr. Bubbles.
Yeah. I am the guy that lives on 7th and Pine and has a bad habit of blowing bubbles all over the place.
Bad habit, man. The kids love them.
They do, and you know what? Adults love it too.
Yeah, especially those boys in blue. They like them too.
I was sitting there one day, and Dave Bauer sent me an inbox and told me to turn off my bubbles because I guess I caused a car accident, but I don't see how.
That didn't cause no car accident. It was somebody probably texting on their phone.
I saw when you posted on there, said they better not blame my bubbles.
Well, I have a bad habit also. If there's one that pulls up in the neighborhood, I blast the Bad Boys theme song out the window.
Inner circle.
It is definitely a fun time.
Anything to make the neighborhood better, though. I mean, anything positive, you can't talk bad about.
Well,
You just can't.
You really can't. And that's my whole thing. More so with my children. I mean, my children are much better than I am as an adult. They're already there, except for Jackson who keeps wandering away. But I focus on a lot of the positive parenting reinforcement, and try to teach them the right way. And I think in a lot of ways that's what the city does lack is giving our children positive ideals, allowing their creativity to flourish.
At home.
It always starts at home. And I hate the ideal that people say, well, the school system needs to do this. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. Did nobody at the school, well, they have their own children, obviously, but did nobody at the school make all these kids? And
No. And it doesn't. The people always say it takes a village to raise a child. You know what? It takes a village to help raise a child, but it starts at home. It's the parents that should be raising their children.
Well, ultimately, the village is really the environment, and that's the metaphor of it, is the environment around that child has to be very positive for that child to grow up in a positive manner, because if it doesn't, it's only going to see negative, and that's what's going to, have you ever heard of the broken windows theory? I've been talking about that craziness for years.
Absolutely. I actually looked into it, and it's actually a very valid theory.
It is. It was written in 1984, I believe, and it basically says if you leave a car there, the car first might get a broken window, busted tire. And as people look, walk by and see it, they don't give a damn about it no more. Nope. And then they continue to watch it break down. And then they even help break it down because it's already there. Why care about it? And that's what Niagara Falls is. Niagara Falls is that broken car.
Oh, we've got a lot of broken windows in Niagara Falls.
We do, but we also got a lot of people that like to rebuild broken cars in Niagara Falls. And in a lot of ways, that's probably what I think is going to save us. They had that meeting yesterday about the 57.
Yeah.
They go back and forth with a couple 100,000, but
who cares?
Well, million. But in a lot of ways, for the last 5-6 years, I've been trolling city council members.
No,
hi Kenny.
Oh, your memes though, they're legendary.
I don't get bad with Kenny too much. Maybe Mr. Vocchio.
Poor James
has been a victim.
Well, since he stopped being the chair of council, they took the booster seat off the center chair, and it's a lot better.
Well, have you ever noticed how he looks like? Never mind.
No, go for it.
Beautiful night out tonight.
Ever noticed how he looks like a busted condom? I could wear a tie too, and I look pretty damn good.
There was a cartoon called Mr. Magoo he reminds me of. Do you remember him?
I think I tried to make a meme of him like that before, and it just didn't take. I couldn't put his little...
Did you get a ban for that one?
Pecker?
I did. You seen? Yeah. Actually, I got a 24-hour suspension for making one of him with,
Yeah, that was that. I couldn't understand why they put the ban on you for that.
It was hilarious. Yes, definitely.
I think we've just found one. Hang in there, guys. Let's see if we can get a picture up and see if there's a likeness. I'm not sure, but okay, we'll be doing that.
Well, Shawn, you started talking about people that are buying houses and rebuilding houses around here. I recently sold my house that I had over on Lakeside Avenue. And it's kind of funny because it was a friend of mine that bought it, and he's rehabbing it. Sold it to another friend of mine, and they're putting a lot of money into that house. But I was talking to that friend yesterday, and he told me he bought the two houses next door to it, as well as the house across the street.
Nice.
The two houses beside it one of them is rented out. The other one has been vacant, but it's in perfect condition to be rented. It's just the previous owner, didn't want to rent it out. But the one across the street that he's actually taken was a bank foreclosure that's basically been abandoned. He's already cleaned it out. He just got the final notice, I think, on the sale that it was approved yesterday. And, I mean, the house is already cleaned out. This guy's got plans. We've got people that are willing to come in here and actually do this. And the funny thing is he has no motivation there. The big hot topic right now is short-term rentals.
Short-term rentals, yes. That's what I was going to say next.
These houses that this guy just bought, now mind you, there's 4 of them, all in the same block that he just purchased, and not a single one of them is in the short-term rental zone that the council is just, they're waiting on, that went to the planning board. They're waiting for planning board approval or recommendation before they can actually finalize that. But this man come in and he bought 4 houses within a span of a month. And the one that I sold it needed a lot of work. The one across the street does, but the 2 that he bought beside it didn't need any work. Like I said, the one's actually occupied. But there's people that want to come in here and they want to buy these houses and stuff like that. But the issue is it's becoming very competitive.
It is.
The values are coming up. The people are in bidding wars for a lot of these properties.
Well, and that was one thing that I was talking about early in this year when they first started, when it became a big issue about the short-term rentals. And because I was identifying what was going on between here and Toronto, where houses that were $320,000 value were being sold for $3.2 million.
Yep. And
I don't want to say I recently moved back up here. I moved back up here in 2010. I was born and raised here in Niagara Falls, moved down to North Carolina and in 1999. And working through different restaurants, I worked for the Huddle House, and we did a lot of different restaurants throughout that area, through the tri-state area of Georgia, Tennessee, and North Carolina. Asheville happened to be one of our stores that we had to go in and monitor and make sure that they stayed above their numbers and kept their labor costs and food costs down. Well, the problem that I seen is first of all, Niagara Falls compared to Asheville way too much for me to be a coincidence. I noticed how the comparisons of Asheville, North Carolina, and Niagara Falls were a long time ago. probably about 5-6 years ago. So when I started seeing this short-term rental thing, it started reminding me of when that started happening down there. And that started happening around 2000 that Asheville started having this short-term rental issue where it started snowballing. Now, you can't even really rent a house in Asheville, North Carolina, unless you got a certain, income.
Right.
Exactly. And I'm afraid that if it's not done right here, we'll see that same thing. And I know people throw around, well, it's not gentrification, it can be done right. Well, I hate to tell you, but I was born and raised here, and you really can't tell me anything has ever been done right here. Nothing that you can do. Well, how's that old saying go? Everything done in haste is done bad.
Yes. Well, we can't even get the garbage right around here. I mean, there's a lot of things that are wrong and backwards. Like you were at the council meeting Wednesday night when I was there, and I got up to speak. And I'm going to say the same thing. I really hope that the city administration, code enforcement, everybody involved, actually starts tackling the long-term rental issue as well, because I mean, you can drive around and you can see, and it's going to hit here soon. As soon as they lift this rent moratorium off, you're going to see a lot of evictions.
Well, and it's coming the end of this month too.
That's when it's scheduled, but they'll probably extend it because now we got the Delta variation coming around, and the governor just declared a gun emergency or whatever.
I think that it might be pushed down. First of all, I don't think CDC should be doing anything like that. They have nothing to do with housing. CDC should not have, unless you get into like the homeless issue. Right. But at the same time, all that money that was just given out to each state, more so ours in California than anywhere else, there shouldn't be that, and no. I have an issue with that because, obviously I have 6 kids. None of my kids ever had to worry about that issue the entire pandemic that was going on because we made sure we stayed on top of it. There was so much money given out during that pandemic. There was no excuse.
You did the responsible thing when you got that money and it was handed out.
Because I have responsible women that I have children with.
There you go. Some people didn't make the same good choices. They may have chosen different options. And like I said, we have had, I understand the short-term rental deal, and I see both sides of it. My issue is we have had a long-term rental issue a lot longer, and it's been a bigger problem that really hasn't been addressed. And I can't understand why they're going so aggressively at the short-term rentals when, I mean, that's like throwing the water 3 foot beside the fire. Okay, when you put out the fire, you throw the water on the fire. The fire we have here is we've got out-of-state landlords, we've got slumlords,
out-of-country landlords as well.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of Canadian landlords.
We've got all these absent landlords. There's a lot of absent landlords that don't have a local representative around here. And
what?
They don't get inspected and often enough. There's too many people that when you start getting into a slumlord, those people are desperate. They've looked everywhere, can't find anything, so they've had to basically settle for whatever they can get into. And unfortunately that's an issue where these slumlords are getting away with this. I mean, the short-term rentals, they're here for a couple weeks and then they go. And then when those people leave, the owners have to go in and clean up after them. But the long-term rentals, I mean, the landlords, as long as they're getting the rent, they don't care what the place looks like. And you start running into safety issues with the fire and with the police.
Well, and that's also that's predatory. That's predatory, landlords. You got ones that know that they're going to squeeze everything out of it, but also you have a problem with uneducated renters.
Yes.
And that's something that I've been talking about for years. There should be a checklist. At least educate people on what to look for, because there's a lot of bad things in the city. It's an old city.
Yep.
You got lead issues, you got mold issues, you got rodent issues, Christ, we live right on the river in two Great Lakes, and everybody's like, oh, we got rats. Yeah, and it kind of happens. It comes with the territory of living
in an urban area where they've got areas that they can hide, where they can. I mean, you got Govanta. Govanta is one that they haul in garbage. That's obviously going to attract.
Well, we got the trash hill too.
Yeah, we got the dump right in the middle of the city, and then you've got also the amount of vacant houses. I like to refer to those as hurricane proof. I don't like it when people say we got all these boarded. No, they're not boarded up houses. Those are hurricane proof. We're waiting for the hurricane to come in. But I'll tell you, yesterday you seen that downpour we had.
Oh yeah.
I swear, I tell you, I
had
could
to
have
turn my bubbles
swore
off.
I thought Noah went floating by my shop in the arc. I could have swore I heard a lion roar.
You drove down my street. You imagine we had a
No.
pool. The drains are actually 3 inches above the street. So
Right now, yeah.
nothing can go into the drains.
We're gonna die.
That's what the city can't open those pools. We should have had lifeguards roaming around.
Did you see where I said that yesterday about let's put some lifeguards in
We
them
need to
ponds in
put
the alleyway?
lifeguards out on a police car or fire truck to make sure nobody's drowning in some of these puddles where it flash flooded.
Well, you can always get my buddy Earl Bass to take care of that. You know, he can stand over there and he's on a school board and a firefighter, so that's a double thing. You can educate while he's stopping him from drowning.
Nothing wrong with that. Teach them to swim.
Sean, you're getting a question from Barb. We know her as Ohio Barb.
Yes,
and
yes, I
she
remember
says,
Barb.
so you're North Carolina, Sean, or NC, Sean? She's asking.
No, actually, I live 3 blocks away from where I was born at. I am Niagara Falls, New York, born and raised. I grew up here until I was 20, and then I moved to North Carolina, which is actually probably the best thing I ever did because it taught me manners, I guess.
Yeah.
It taught me community. I mean, and that's one thing that I noticed about them small, even here in New York, because I lived in Bath, New York for some time, and them smaller towns that don't have the bigger city issues or the suburbs of bigger cities. Niagara Falls to me is like Gastonia is to Charlotte. Because you got right next to a major city.
Right.
Charlotte's a major city like Buffalo. Niagara Falls is like Gastonia because it's a smaller city, and
Yep.
we had our time when it came to the Industrial Revolution. We had 100,000 people living here, but now we have 45,000 people and probably a good 30% of disgruntled employees. And that's the way I look at that. Well, that's the way I look at the city. The city has to be looked at like a business. We can't continue to look at it like it's what's that one? He was like the 5th mayor, Arthur. I can't pronounce his last name. It's Scroffer. Peter knows who I'm talking about.
I don't recall that name very well, but trying to think what it was. Here, Niagara Falls.
He was a businessman that was here, and he's famous for the quote that was on his campaign: "Municipal government is a business, not politics."
Right.
Municipal
at this level, absolutely.
Yeah, at this level, because you can't really look at the lines of there's not enough people here to care about political lines, political parties. Ideology, yeah, but a lot of people here in Niagara Falls are the same. We have the same thinking. We all want the same.
Yeah, we want our taxes lowered down, our garbage taken away, and we want services.
Well, I posted something about the trash, and I have issues about the trash, and I think that the trash should have been a fee in 2014. And a lot of people don't like when I say that, but at the same time, a lot of people are blaming the mayor that was just sat last year for the trash fee that was
in 2014. It was recognized that we needed to do something, and at that time, I believe the city council went ahead and decided to use casino funds for the garbage.
Well, I remember posting the 17-minute video the other day of Mr. Tuma going into his nice rant about how we deserve this. And
yeah, we deserve a lot of things, but
we
what
do.
did he deliver on anything? How much did he deliver on any of that stuff he says we deserved?
Yes,
well,
not the
campaign time.
Tuma.
He shifted. He shifted at the end there. He became like the city champion. He was like our Hercules. It was
election time.
It was incredible. No, I knew it. I said it back last year that I knew he was going to retire.
Yeah.
I can't remember who I inboxed about it. I inboxed somebody and was like, yeah, I think he's going to quit before the next election cycle starts. And he was like, why do you say that? Well,
there were rumors around about that.
Well, I just guessed.
Yeah.
I had guessed, I believe.
You didn't have to guess.
I didn't have to guess. Who's connected? I
You
don't
are.
know any.
You got connections.
I don't like
everywhere.
any of them dudes in there. None of them. Not even my buddy the pirate.
Arr.
Arr, do you know what a pirate's favorite letter is?
Kenny?
No, a pirate's favorite letter.
Oh,
What is
R.
it? No, it's the C.
Nice.
Oh, come on. You can tell that one to your kids.
Yeah, well,
Hey, Jill Shaw piped in two of my favorite people, she said.
I've known Jill for quite a long time. I love
she's
Jill.
awesome.
Jill's got a
Great
lot of
spirit.
heart. She
Yep.
does.
Heart and spirit together.
And if we had more people that thought like Jill, I love to talk. I do, and I like to troll people. But the shit that I've seen Jill do, we're not even gonna get into that, Jill.
We're not going to mention any front doors, are
No,
we?
no, we're not going to mention any front doors because I don't want to end up on somebody else's podcast.
Oh, my
because
God. No.
That would not be fun. I don't want to start this podcast on a bad foot.
No.
Jill
Yeah.
is at a level that you should aspire to get to.
Jill, yes.
Well, you know what it is. It's because Jill's short. Listen, there's one thing I could tell people about Niagara Falls women. If they're under like 5'5", don't do it.
Look out.
It's really. I come from a family of short women. I'm 6 foot, roughly 280 pounds, and there's not one woman from my mom, my aunt, my sisters, my female. I wouldn't mess with none of them because they're all under 5'5". It's like women come in, they're like dynamite in small packages.
Oh,
Can't punch in a job, but boy, they'll take your kneecaps out.
Oh, I'm waiting for the judge, Miss Janelle, to take her seat, and
That's going to be a booster chair for sure.
I might catch a jaywalking ticket, and it'll be all over.
You're under the jail.
I am going away for life on that one. I mememed her so much it was funny.
She took it in good fun though.
She's a great person. She really is.
Yep.
And that's the one thing that I noticed about a lot of people here. A lot of people are great people.
You get a few that aren't though.
There are a few that aren't. Obviously, I'm one of the few that aren't, only because I don't fit in with other people, and I think that's what we have is that we have a lot of groups and a lot of cliques in the city that are separate and isolated to themselves. To where if there was an umbrella group, or even if one of the groups said, "Hey, let's combine all these groups together, and then we can make some real change," rather than individual groups saying, "Hey, we got to do this," and let's go duplicate the service. Let's go clean the median out, and 3 weeks later, let's go clean the median out, and then 6 months later, the median looks like shit. Where's DPW?
Just make sure you take pictures when you're doing it.
Oh man, I hate taking pictures of myself doing stuff. It's so irritating that
I during that whole campaign, that was one of my biggest things is. I don't do things for a gold star or for a pat on the back. I do them because it makes me feel good. It's the right thing to do.
I agree.
And I was noticing when we were at certain events or certain functions or anything like that. The one that got me was the one that you noticed, the neighborhood cleanup.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that day I got called into work, but I was told by somebody that I should put my own team together for that. And I'm like, no, I've been a part of a different team for the last few years. And I didn't want to put my own. That was a politician thing.
Yeah.
They were doing it
and
to
that's
get
normally
the recognition, to take my picture. Look, this is what I do.
That's my biggest issue with all of that.
Watch and see what I do. Now that I'm not, it's no secret. 218 people showed up to vote. 131 voted for Chris. 87 voted for me. Okay, he got more votes than I did. When only 218 people voted, I don't know how you can actually call that a win for anybody or a loss for anybody. To me, it's a loss for the city. It's a loss for the district because, if only 218 people showed up and cared enough to show up to vote, that to me was a bad thing. But, watch and see what people do. Some of these candidates that don't actually pull off a victory, see what they do. You want to see the character. You want to see somebody that actually gives a shit about the city. Watch and see. That's when you'll see.
Well, we already have examples of it. Look at our buddy Seth.
Who's that?
Mr. Yeah.
He pulled a Houdini. We'll have to nickname
Mr.
him
Peccadillo?
Houdini.
Peccadillo.
You know what? And the bad thing about it is that I gave him an opportunity, and I'm not quick to give people opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Like, I give people one chance, two chances, and he was just a disappointment. But we're not going to go into the past because they're where they're supposed to be.
That's it.
At home.
But you have to watch and see. I mean, you've gone to council meetings for years. I've been to council meetings for years, and you can always see when it's election time.
Well, and you can
find
always,
a few more butt cheeks in them seats. And
I was saying it back in 2014 that people in Niagara Falls love to sell their votes for hot dogs.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what happens is that they sell their votes for hot dogs because they go out to these little barbecues and they listen to a bunch of rhetoric that says, oh, this is what we're going to do. There's realistic things that can be done.
Well, I've done a few community cookouts, as you were aware of.
Yes.
I asked, I remember, I'll never forget, there were two of them at the last one that really struck me and hit a heart chord. I had one fellow that walked up and asked me if he could, have a hot dog. Okay.
That was when you were over here at Jay's Auto.
Yep. I watched this man eat 5 hot dogs. There was a little girl there. She was special needs. She was a lot smaller than normal, and she was nonverbal. But that girl was sitting there. She was just having a blast. That man left after he ate the 5 hot dogs. He came back. Now the little girl had left, and he came back with a pink sweatshirt for her and a stocking hat. Aww. Now this man, I don't know if he was homeless or not. I didn't care. You know, I didn't turn anybody away. But this man came back and he says, I brought this back for that little girl. And I'm like, well, you know what? We'll see if we can track her down. We'll get it to her. He looked at me and says, can I have some more food? I looked at that man. I said, you take whatever you want.
Well, and that's the kind of person you are, because after you got done, you came to my house with a bunch of shit.
No, that was at the one over in Hyde Park. That was the one I did in Hyde Park.
I remember that.
The one that we did down here at Jay's.
Like 40 hamburgers. Yeah. At least 40 pieces of chicken.
Yes. That was the chicken that we didn't cook all of it.
Listen, Jackson's been eating damn hamburgers and hot dogs.
You're welcome, Jackson.
Barbecue.
You're
Jackson
welcome.
Loves them.
But then there was another group that pulled up. There were four people in this minivan, and they asked if there were any leftovers. We were shutting down, and I said, well, you know, I got some chicken left on the grill. It's cold now, but they didn't care. They said, oh, we'll take that. So I gave them a whole pan of chicken that we had cooked that was left on the grill. And they said, we're sorry, we can't vote for you. We're from Buffalo, from Erie County. And I looked at him, I said, I don't care where you're from. You came here, you're hungry. You've seen that we're having a free cookout here. You're hungry, you come back. You watch. I gave them my name, handed them a palm card, even though they couldn't vote for me. I said, this is who I am. This is my phone number. If you guys are in the area, look me up. If I can help you, I will. But watch my Facebook page and see, because I do these all the time. This isn't something I'm doing just because I'm a candidate. I didn't care if people could vote for me. I didn't care if they liked me. All I said was, it's Father's Day. Bring your dad down. You don't want to cook for him. You can't cook for him. Come down. I'll cook for him.
Oh, yeah.
You're hungry? Come down. I don't care if you vote for me. I don't care if you live in the district. I don't even care if you live in the city. If you're hungry, come down. We're feeding hungry people. And the one thing I can say, and I said something to Mr. Miles, Dante Miles, running for city council, and Ezra and the boys there. They're doing this every Monday now over at the Salvation Army. They're doing a cookout.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm glad they are. I give them great kudos for that, because, you know something, that's what we need. They recognize there's a need around here, just like I recognize there's hungry people walking around. We did peanut butter and jelly hot dogs last year.
Out in front of the NAC Center.
Yes. Yeah. People are hungry. Feed them. You know, people need help. Help them. It doesn't matter if you're a candidate or not. And that's why I said, you want to see somebody that actually gives a crap about this city? Watch what they do when they're not a candidate.
Well, and that's what integrity is all about. What you do when people aren't watching. You know, and Dante's a genuine guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, he's a very passionate person that speaks with a lot of emotion and does things with a lot of emotion.
And he actually gives a shit about the whole community, not just his little neighborhood.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He definitely
He's around everywhere.
He definitely expands his focus past his own little area. You know, until you leave a zombie house next to his house, and then he gets really pissed off and brings pictures in the city council meetings.
Well, you know, and he's one that he's got a pure heart. He does. He's got super great intentions. He just wants, like some of the rest of us, he wants everything to be better around here. He's got kids. He wants a better environment for his kids.
Well, and of course, and that's what everybody should aspire to want, and not just for their kids, for everybody else around them's kids. You know, and that's what I mean when I say that we have small, either individuals or groups that are, you know, so focused on their area, that if we get more people with the thought process of, you know, it's not just my neighborhood, it's my city.
Exactly.
You know, and it's a personal pride issue that and we also, I was just saying this before we came into somebody on Facebook, my friend Mary, she was talking about the meeting that they just had and what could be done and this and that. Well, first of all, there's a lot of guidelines on that money.
There is.
And it has to be looked at as more of, how can we reinvest this money within the guidelines that'll make it more profitable long term? You know, because scare money don't make money. First of all, if you're just spending it on random stuff to make other people happy, you're not going to return on investment on that. You know, and then nobody's going to win from that.
Oh, you mean like the return on investment we're getting from that money that's going to what is that? The Montanti Group, I do believe.
Yeah, I was
to create 14 jobs.
I was reading about that when you posted it, and I've questioned that group since they started the 616 Niagara project. First of all, they waited to even start the project until they got the historical tax credits for it. You know, and I like it. it's in my neighborhood.
Right.
And that's another thing. Like my neighborhood, I live right across the street from City Hall. A lot of people know that, obviously, because
Mr. Bubbles.
you see the bubbles and all the shit talking and the garden's done. And
There's not usually garbage on your street either.
there's not. But since they tore it up, I've not. And there's a couple houses that I need to go and have a conversation with.
You know who the offenders are.
I do, and they know who I am too. And,
Yeah, the one called you a cop the one day, didn't he?
well, yeah. Well, I had one pull me aside the one day and ask me about going to another house, asking them to clean up. I'm like, I'm not the community watch person, bro. Like, you see me cleaning up because I don't want my kids to look out the window and see trash all over the place. And the fact that we live right across the street from City Hall, we shouldn't see none of that. But up until last year, anyways, in all fairness, up until last year, I was mowing the lots on both sides of the street, the random houses that were on the street, and a lot of City Hall parking lot grass just to keep it down.
That's it. You know what?
In 2019.
I am a union steward, and you're doing my union work, so I'm going to have to file a grievance now.
Well, to be honest with you, you guys already hit us with a cease and desist
For
order.
the union league.
You guys already hit us with a cease and desist order, but that can only stop Kenny.
That was all a misunderstanding.
Kenny stood by the truck like a damn tree and was like, I can't do nothing. This is terrible. It was funny.
That was all a misunderstanding. That got straightened out. Maybe we just had to get people to sit down and actually talk about it, and that was handled.
Well, yeah, and we ended up getting the list, and we just haven't done nothing with the COVID and whatnot.
COVID's made it kind of tough on everything.
It has, and I'm not even going to talk about COVID because I have my own beliefs on the whole. Maybe when I feel like getting canceled. But
Can we get booted off Facebook on a podcast?
well, I just don't want Peter to say, "That's it, get your asses out of
I
here."
never say that. I wait till somebody signs a petition.
Oh yeah, that's,
even those don't work.
well,
all
you
the
didn't
time,
even
though, do they?
you didn't even bend for that much. You were just like that. I don't like this building no more.
Well, the
Well, it's nice to
internet
have
did
clean
kinda suck.
restrooms.
It
Yeah.
is.
An internet that works.
Hey, you know what? You have your own space too.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about people randomly walking in, and
Yep.
You can control the heat.
You
the
can.
air conditioning.
and
The bathrooms are a big plus, though. I gotta
they
say.
are. They
Yep.
are. Besides the fact that Jackson, sit down in the chair, baby. Sorry, I had to correct my son in the middle of all this. He's sitting here eating graham crackers, trying to crawl around and
He's doing good.
driving Peter batshit
I
crazy.
have a vacuum. We're good. I gave him those crackers, man.
Well, he seems
He's
to
a sweet
think
guy.
that he can get away from the chair if he keeps going to the bathroom. He's not really doing anything. We have a bidet at home, okay? And Jackson likes to go into the bathroom and go to the bathroom, and every couple of seconds he hears psst, psst, psst. I'm like, all right, bro, that's enough. Come on out.
It's clean.
You're
Daddy.
gonna blow up like a water balloon.
You know, one thing we should talk about. We should talk about Mr. Levick coming up in city council in 2 years. I think that sounds like a very good candidacy that needs to be emphasized.
And I've made it clear several times over the past couple of years. In 2014, I set a goal. By 45, I'll be an elected official. It's still on my other page. I will be there, and honestly, I kind of believe that if I'd have ran this time with the field, it would have probably turned out to be me, Tracy, and Dante. No disrespect to the other candidates, but yeah, you're not even.
They've all got their good and bad points.
If I can give a word of advice to the candidates, and I'll tell you why Tim pointed that out, because I do say a lot of political stuff as far as local politics. I don't really get into federal politics as much, but if you're going to run, go back and binge watch. Act like you're Netflixing and chilling and watch every single council meeting from 2006, 2005. You go back as far as you want. It's all on the school site.
Yep.
Exactly. It is. But
C21.
you learn a lot of stuff. I wouldn't know half the stuff that I know now that I could just randomly, throw off, like how community development ended up getting $1.3 million budget transfer to balance their budget out. The $500,000 that went to the fire hall that's still not turned into a training center.
Come on now.
And
That's hurricane-proof building. They're just waiting for the hurricane.
well, and that's the problem, is that these candidates are talking about things that are happening now that, when, in all honesty, there's no council members back from when that happened.
No.
All this stuff happened in
Our longest tenured
2013,
one is Mr.
2014.
Tompkins. He's our longest tenured councilman right now.
He is. And he came in 2016. I
6
think he was
years
set in.
He's about 6 years ago he came in.
Well, yeah, he ran in 2015. Was sat in 2016.
Yep.
But even by then, the most major approval that he gave was for the moving the water for the statue.
Yeah.
And that crazy park. I don't even understand how that park should be damn Niagara Splash out there on what is it? 90 no.
Which park?
76th Street Park? Where the cricket thing is at, where they put in it's like $150,000 put into this park.
Yeah.
This shit should look like Darien Lake.
It
And it looks like Darien fake. It's wrong. Like I'm seeing people talking about.
Maybe that's where they put the Wonder Falls at, because they sure didn't put it downtown where it was planned.
They got them damn kids wondering where their park is at. You know.
Wonder where it went.
Some lady was talking to me one day about it. She was like, "What do you mean $150,000? Where was it put into?" I said, "Well, if I remember correctly, they bought you guys some trees."
Yep.
You know, that's basically what it was. There was a bunch of landscaping done. There was some stuff stolen from out there, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
that had to be
was.
replaced.
But it did end up getting completed, I believe. Just wasn't as grand as it should have been. It kind of like turned out kind of like the Hamster Hotel that was supposed to be development downtown that was supposed to change everything, and it turned out to be like
It's a hamster hotel.
I used to call it the Hamster Hot Dog Stand because, you know, there were so many grand plans, and I still remember when they were basically, you know, I don't want to say blackmail, but they were really after the mayor and the city council about, if this doesn't get approved, I'm going to walk away. And then it was like 2 years later, I think, before he finally actually got approval, because he was still looking for money that he said he had that he didn't have.
Well, just that right there itself. Let's go back to what we were talking about earlier with the MT Montaigne
Group.
What are the chances of the same thing happening? You know, we put all this money into 616 Niagara. We put all this into that.
We do have a tendency of being like Jack and the Beanstalk and buying a bunch of magic beans and getting a handful of crap, is what it turns out to be.
And that's exactly what happens. And I think that it's. I don't want to say people are stuffing their pockets. I don't like to think. You know, I'm not a cynic. You know, I don't like to think the worst of people. But
sometimes you gotta call it out, man, when you see it.
Well, you see, I'm catching my breath there
If the
because
shoe fits,
in my
make 'em
mind,
wear
I was
it.
thinking it. You know, it's in a lot of ways. There's no way that it couldn't have been to some
Anything
extent.
else.
You know, there's not, because there's no way. A lot of people seem to think that we only got $250,000 or $250 million from the casino.
No.
Nobody really thinks about the grants and the CBDGs and all the other stuff that we got
Greenway
as well.
funding.
Greenway funding, and that was a lot of damn money. And
Remember when Mayor Deister took over and he had that slush fund?
luckily, I wasn't here when he took over.
I
seen politics done right. I really did down in North Carolina.
There was a slush fund that the mayor had, a little fund money that nobody could explain where it came from or what it was for, but it sure did disappear. And I don't think it was spent on artwork or statues or anything like that.
No, I don't think so neither.
I think there's
I don't
there
think
was
so neither.
some alcohol parties going on down there at the Hard Rock, and
I know a 5-year-old that's about to get in trouble, though, if he keeps walking over here like he's the
he's
host.
good. He's good.
He is. He's a good kid. Come here,
It's
buddy.
good. It's good for kids to be part of this too.
You know, there was at the
Everybody, this
council
is my 5-year-old Jackson. Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Okay, now go sit back down, and we'll be done in about 15 minutes.
We had at the council meeting there was the fellow that owns the craft downtown on 3rd Street, the old Unks.
Yeah.
Talking about having street shut down, having a festival.
Yeah.
You know, we need to start doing some things like that again. I mean, we haven't had the blues festival for a couple of years now. I don't think the Italian festival got canceled last year because of COVID. Did we have it the year before last year?
Well, I remember there was a gap in between the blues festivals.
Mm-hmm.
I actually took him and the twins to the last one that we had, and we haven't had it since.
Right.
I don't remember when the last time we had a
I
festival.
mean, even the St. John de La Salle Carnival's gone now.
Yeah, that's all.
That's-
We don't have anything. And-
Why aren't we having these festivals and stuff like that? I mean, I remember when the city was not doing the Memorial Day parade anymore.
Well, because the big thing that I noticed is that they want the here and now. City Hall does, and when I say City Hall wants the here and now, it means that they want things that are quick to make people happy, and
That the city don't have to pay for.
the city don't have to pay for.
Have any responsibility.
Even
for
that though, they can set up partnerships with people and get sponsorships for certain things,
like fireworks.
fireworks, parades, festivals, even like that crazy thing I was talking about, the Tesla Gardens, where I was talking about bringing in, Elon Musk. If you're out there, please give me a call.
You can call my number. It should be on the screen. 716-990-3934. I'll get the message to Shawn for you.
Yeah, you can get until next week, and then I'll
Do it before you go to space,
mine
because
taken
we don't
care
want
of.
any accidents or anything.
No,
We
do it
want
after you go to space. So you don't see what the hell I'm doing with your money.
We do have a caller here. Hang on. Shut up, Joanna.
Damn it.
Okay.
Man.
Remember that? She used to call in all the time. No, shut up. I told.
Listen.
That's it. You're not to call in
During
again.
my campaign, she was giving me the business. And you know what? I give that woman, she has got the determination. I swear she is.
I made her block me. I made her block me.
I aspire to be as good as you someday. But
One day I'll teach you how to meme.
I mean,
I'll teach you.
I tried to talk to this woman and explain to her, and she has got blinders on, and she only sees what she wants to see. And I took it all, and she even gave me a compliment that I took it like a champ, and things like that. I don't try to get mad at people, and I wasn't trying to intentionally make her mad, but sometimes some people just have their agendas, and I respect people for that. She's, like I said, she's a very strong-willed woman. She knows what she wants, and politically anyway. And God love her. That's all I can say. I just wish that I could get some of that motivation and turn it into, like what Shawn does, walking the 5-foot rule. Anything within 5 foot, you pick it up. And talking about those short women, too, you know what? We should get them. We need to get them to start following you around and want to beat you up and tell them, hey, while you're here, pick that garbage up. Well, I missed it while I'm running from you.
Hey, Karen Bauer piped in. She said short women are little ninjas.
Yes, they are.
If that's what we're calling them now, I call them evil little trolls. I was trying to think of a good way to put it, but listen, I call.
Oh, don't do that. Karen's lovely.
No. I get in a lot of trouble because I have I have a book full of midget jokes.
Little person jokes.
I'm bad.
Little person jokes.
I'm bad.
Little person. Little person jokes.
Little person.
Thank you.
My mom is a dwarf. Like, if my mom was anything, she'd be Frodo Baggins from Lord of the Rings. That's how it is with a lot of people in my family. But
I think she's going to be calling and telling you you're off the Christmas card. You're out of the will now.
Please stop that.
You're out of the will.
warriors. Midget women are short. Little women are warriors. I'm going to go ahead and say that now so I don't get stabbed on my way outside. But yeah, what were we talking about? I completely forgot because the midget joke got me off track.
It's got him rattled.
Well,
now.
we got on. We were talking about Joanna, who calls in every once in a while.
Well, I have a question if Joanna decides to watch this, which I don't think she will because she's kind of upset with me for memeing her relentlessly.
She can say mine.
Shut up, Joanna.
She can say mine. I shared it.
Let me ask this question: Is cereal soup?
Sometimes.
I mean, it could be like a cream of mushroom soup, like a cream of Captain soup.
If you don't warm it up, I think it would be cereal then, right?
No, you can have cold soup.
Yeah, but cream of mushroom soup, it doesn't. Cream of mushroom soup's kind of like I don't know, like a gel texture. Until you heat it up anyway. I don't know. That's a question. Let's put that out for a poll.
That's actually a great question that I wrote down. I was like, I'm going to ask some really, really off the wall questions because I didn't know what to start with today. I really didn't. I got you two because I feel comfortable with you two, so I knew that this was going to be.
I come with a property.
Well, yeah, obviously, but
You come with good energy.
You come with a positive vibe of creativity and love. And I tried, Peter. I tried.
Oh,
I'll still give you a ride home. You ain't got to do that.
That's awesome.
It's yeah.
Nobody wants to call in. I guess.
No, I even put a little invitation up on the what do you call it, on the comments. But what
We'll
other
build them
questions were you going to ask, Shawn?
Well, there's
what are you posing to us?
in a lot of ways, I'd like to know.
Why do you drive on a parkway and park on a driveway?
Okay, what's your favorite restaurant in the city, and what do you normally order? What is your go-to restaurant in Niagara Falls?
My go-to restaurant, I like to go to the Hong Kong Kitchen on Pine Avenue. It's a standing joke that I've got with Mr. Bradfield that I work with. I'll look at him every day, and I start usually around 9 o'clock. Bud, what are we doing for lunch today? Chinese food? I personally like to go there. I try not to. Especially when I bring people in from Ohio, when people come to visit me, we'll go to one of the places I take them is Mighty Taco, because Taco Bell's big in Ohio. So I'll take them to like Mighty Taco, something different. I'll tell you another place that I really like to go to. A good friend of mine, he used to be on Pine Avenue. It was used to be the Cataract Grill. Now it's Avenue Bar and Grill. Howie Ewing.
Okay, Howie, yeah. I've known Howie since I was little.
Man, Howie's got
we both grew up on 15th and Ferry together.
Man, that burger he makes, I call it the heart attack in a bag. It's a hamburger with 2 grilled cheese sandwiches for buns, and I'll tell you, when he first started making it over on Pine Avenue, I got it, and I couldn't eat that whole thing.
I've seen some pictures of his food. Now
I call that bold talk for a one-eyed fat man.
I've been cooking for a long time, and I've actually had people ask me, "Hey, you want to come work?" You guys couldn't afford me. I'm not saying Howie couldn't. Like, don't take that the wrong way. But I've seen some really, really good food come out of these newer restaurants. Yeah. You know, who's another one that interests me? Rock Burger looks like it's pretty good. Not that I would eat. It more seems like a Chef Duffy thing to me.
Yes, they're good, and I haven't had the macaroni and cheese place right beside them yet.
Bolify?
Who is that? Cadella just opened that, right?
Yeah, it's Bolify, I believe it is.
Something like that. It's right beside the Rock Burger there in the old Family Video.
Yep.
I haven't been there yet. I hadn't seen if they were open yet or not. But
I don't think that he is. I've seen him posting about it.
I've seen the different things that they're going to do, and I'm waiting for that to go in. Another place that I've been to only a couple of times because I don't know. I haven't been doing a lot of late nights out, but the Judas Tree. I went there, and I've been there a couple of times. They have the craft beers and stuff there, and we had it was a meat and cheese tray plate thing that they had the one night. And I'll tell you, I'm not one to you bring me something. It better be mooing before I get it on my plate. You know, either a steak or a cheeseburger. But the food that they brought out was, I was pleasantly surprised, to put it that way, because when I seen it at first, I'm like, some of the stuff I can't even say. I'm German, I'm not Italian. Yeah. But I mean, when that stuff showed up in front of me, and I'm eating this stuff, and I'm like, man, don't give me any more of this stuff, because I'll probably have a heart attack from it or something, because I would absolutely eat that at a buffet.
Oh yeah.
But the other place I like, I've been a lot of nights I've been at Sammy's Pizza.
Sammy's Pizza.
I've
seen that they're hiring like crazy too over there.
So we heard all 5 of Tim's favorite restaurants. Let's go to the comments here. We've got what do we have? I have to go up a little bit here. Barbolin points out Maloney's, the sub shop right across the street here at 87th and Buffalo Avenue. They're great. And Lori Joe said not open yet, and I don't know.
That was the
Bolify. Yeah, it's a tapas restaurant. And Barb says the little guy's hysterical.
Yeah, I happened to notice that. I looked over. My son had. I apologize, everybody. I don't know where he picked it up at, because I don't flip people off.
Oh.
Tim, when he was campaigning, came to the house, and me and Tim were talking, and we both happened to glance over to see my 5-year-old son flipping off traffic because he was driving by. I just happened to look up in the monitor and see my 5-year-old flipping off Facebook.
No. Come on, Jackson.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I don't want to say it's a shameless plug or anything like that, but there is one that I am looking forward to trying, and it's not in the city, but it's run by a couple of fellas from the city here. One happens to be a fireman, I'm sure of, and that's Halligan's. I've looked.
Is that Jay's?
Yes.
Yeah, it's already opened.
Yes, yeah. I'm gonna stop. I went to one night. I went to go, but I went to the wrong place. I was at a different location. I didn't have the GPS on, and sorry. I am going to be coming out there though, because I've seen that they've been putting on some of their specials. They've been advertising on Facebook and stuff. And you know what?
One thing I know about firefighters is that they can cook their asses off.
Damn right they can.
I've never met a firefighter that couldn't cook.
Well, when you see our fire trucks, if they're not at the fire stations or the fire scene, you'll see them. You'll see at like Latinas. I've seen a lot of them at Latinas, or they go to Tops.
Tops, yeah.
You know what? They don't eat out the fast food stuff. That's why they're not
I always
like
wondered
us,
why
nice
they
and
were at
fluffy.
Top so much.
Yeah.
And because every time I walk over there and see, well, not every time, but when I was over there and I see their truck multiple times,
Yeah.
I'm like, why? And then I realized they're in their grocery shop. and
They're
like normal
grocery
people.
shopping, and they're getting, they get their food from local restaurants and local suppliers. And you know what? And like I said, look at them. We can't have a fluffy fireman, somebody fluffy like you and I. We got to have these fellas that can get up and down the steps and carrying all the equipment and pulling people out, saving lives, doing the right thing, what they're supposed to be doing. But
I see where Lori Joe said what is that? What was that last one?
Tapas.
Oh,
Tapas
Judas
restaurant.
Tree.
Yes.
Now, tapas is really good. I don't know if you know what that is. Is where they bring out a plate and it's got it's kind of like a sampler where everybody can eat off the plate. It's multiple. I always thought that would be a good thing here for like a dinner and a show. Kind of like we have a place in North Carolina called the Dragonfly Theater, and it's where you would go in and you would see a live show, but it was tapas food, and.
I think there's somebody that's talking about doing one of those dinner theater shows.
I
Do we know
seen
anybody that's
somebody-
talking about doing that?
Dave
That's-
who?
Yeah, is that rhymes with Morio?
Oh yeah, that's my godfather's brother.
And there's another guy that's running a board in there that's talking about doing it as well. I believe
Oh,
it's
we
already
did
written.
one actually at the Culinary Institute.
Yeah,
But-
that's already
Yeah.
written, I believe.
And
and-
so anyone else out there, though, from the comments, we still got a couple of minutes here if you want to pipe in with your favorite restaurant.
Yeah, let me know. And if there's anything that anybody wants me to talk about, because I like Tim said, I can pull some certain strings on certain people or threaten them with relentless memes. The
You
rest
and
of
I
the,
have some exchanges, don't we? I love that.
I got to tell you,
yeah.
I was impressed with the very first one you did for me. The Santa Claus.
the Santa Claus that you ended up
I
using as-
still have that on there.
I did one that I was my favorite one is the one where I got Deister joining in the Kiss My Ass Club of Cuomo, and that was an old one. That was like one of my first when I first popped
The
on to
caveman meme.
when I first popped out and was like, I want to get involved in this local politics thing. Let me go ahead and I made a meme of Deister doing that. And Jackson, would you please?
He
sit
didn't
down?
threaten to fire you at City Hall and the council chambers or anything, though, so you're all right.
He didn't even threaten to hire me at City Hall, which is probably a good thing.
It'll be all right. We'll get you in there.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Even if I plan on running, I can't. But
if you cannot be a city employee and get elected on council,
let's
which is part of the reason that you saw my name on there running for county
legislator. Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to be a city councilman. I want to be a dictator.
There you go.
I just want to be honest with everybody. I do want to be king of Niagara Falls at some point in my life. I'm talking to
Your
Justin Trudeau.
authoritarian host.
Well, and that's where I was headed at with that, because that was what got me and Joanna. Well, got her to block me on Facebook is because
finally broke the straw that broke the camel's back.
yes, and she removed a comment that I made and then came on to my page telling me about
censored
removing her.
you?
Oh yeah.
She did not censor
And
you.
that's something that happens in Niagara Falls a lot. A lot of people say the one thing that they believe in, this kind of ideology that they follow along, and kind of find out they only follow it when it suits them.
And it suits their agenda.
Me, I'm an asshole. I don't have time for caring about party lines. I have my own vision of where I see my kids. And really, that's the most important thing to me is the kids.
Yep.
Except for the one that keeps wandering around.
Doing good. When you come in here? I'm going to say hi. My microphone's a little louder.
Yeah, don't trip on them wires, buddy. And this will be your last day coming.
Say testing 1, 2, 3. Give him a big wave.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Attaboy. Give him a peace sign. Attaboy.
I'm waiting.
Just make sure
He
we got
pushed that
both those
finger.
fingers
He
up.
did that on purpose. He
Just
pushed that
make
finger
sure-
forward. He's gonna
Make sure we got both those fingers up.
Yeah, when
you
he
gotta
goes
have
home,
two fingers up.
he's gonna
Not
have
just
some-
the one. You got to have two on.
He's gonna have some re-education classes, some reprogramming going on when he gets
Our
home.
Bolin has a restaurant, the Griffin.
The
Pub.
Griffin.
Griffin,
yes.
I remember when Griffin first opened up, and I wanted to go in there. And that'll probably be part of it. I'm hoping to actually get into some of these restaurants and maybe kind of bring my camera in there, and if Peter wants to throw it in for like a 5-minute review on it.
I'm in. Yep.
Kind of like a restaurant review, because like I said, I have been cooking for a long time. I've ran state university food services, and
When you did prison time.
There was that too.
Yeah.
Well, I was more the tile cleaner in the bathroom. I'd go in there with my toothbrush.
That's what you were cleaning.
Some bleach and scrub the babies off the floor.
Had the best toilet bowl hooch in the cell block, right?
Well, that's what I. Oh man, yeah. Listen, when you're in a county jail in Tennessee, you learn some stuff. I mean, Jackson, come on back over here. It's almost done.
Have you ever been in a Turkish prison before?
No, I've never been in a prison. Period. Thankfully.
Yeah, me neither.
I've never.
I have.
I've never really aspired to be, and I grew up on 20th Street. Most people like to revert to that whole. No. You're a sponge of your environment, and you're a product of your. No, you're not. You're a product of your environment choices. And your choices, and that's one thing that I've always had a big thing with is accountability.
Yeah.
I've always been accountable for my every mistake that I've ever made. I could probably write them down and say, I know I did that. I know I did that. You're going to
need a bigger notebook.
Probably 2 or 3.
Well, I brought my kids here, and I raised my kids here.
Yeah, and I did also. I brought.
When I hear people say, "Oh, there's nothing to do," there's plenty of things to do. You just have to look and talk to people, find out where they're at. Yeah. Like I said, I raised my kids here. They don't have prison records, criminal records, no bad habits, anything like that.
No, and me neither.
I was always active with my kids. And my kids used to get mad at me because their friends would come over. And I'm like, you on Facebook? Give me your Facebook screen name. I would add their friends on because I told them, I said, I want to know what kind of knuckleheads you're hanging out with, what you guys are doing.
And that's what you're supposed to do as a parent. When I first moved back up here, it would have been Jessica and Anthony and the twins' first time coming up here ever. See, it was 2010, 11 years ago. Anthony just turned 19 today. He was about 7 or 8 years old when we moved up here. And we moved up here. They didn't have the curriculum that they have up here in North Carolina. They didn't have science and social studies and all that other stuff. Well, they had science. They didn't have social studies and language arts. Anthony is in right now going to RIT, and that's the second, from what I'm told, it's the second best technical school in the country. The twins today, they just got announced on the LaSalle prep page. Alexandra got high honors, and Jasmine got honors. And for being such a person, for being who I am, and my kids to be so advanced educational wise, and they take an interest in school, but they also have their outside vices. Anthony will spend hours on his Xbox. As long as his grades are good, he's entitled to do whatever he wants to do, and
right.
They go out and do things, though. They also get to see other things, but they moved here from an area, I guess this is the point that I'm trying to make. They moved here from an area where the environment around them was healthy, and
just got thrown in here.
Yeah, and got thrown in here, and they've made the best of everything, and that they could. They live right on Willow. I mean, it's not 15th and Willow isn't the greatest neighborhood.
No, it's not that bad.
But they don't allow them outside things. And I guess I have that with Jackson and Aries also. Their mothers are very nurturing to where I'm the punisher, I guess,
I'm going to tell your dad.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I get. Jessica will be like, all right, Anthony, your grades are dropping.
Kids
Sean, I got to come bring Anthony to see you, and that's exactly
kids come over and they won't even come up to you. No, Daddy, no.
Well,
what the hell did you tell my kid?
When he did have his problem with his grades, he pulled up and he kind of had his head down, but he knew that it wasn't going to be like a chastising. It was more of a, we're going to get these up or it's going to be a problem. And a lot of the times, people don't have that. These kids don't have that nowadays. They don't have, it's babies raising babies here. Yep. And my oldest son is 22. He'll be 22 in September. My youngest, Aries, is 2. I have 6 kids. There's the twins just turned 14. So there's a very, very laddered group of kids right there. And this one's got the hardest head.
Well, I have 4 grandkids with a 5th one on the way.
I have 2. I have 2 grandkids thanks to my 22-year-old son in Canada.
I just had a granddaughter who was born last Friday. A week ago today.
Oh, okay. Kenny Hamilton just had a grandbaby.
Yes, he did. His first.
And that's
congratulations.
That's
Kenny
impressive
Hamilton.
for as old as he is.
Yeah, he is older than there. Didn't he say something about parallel parking a dinosaur to get his driver's license?
I think that he created the dinosaurs. He was like meshing them up in a petri dish and was like, "Hey, dinosaurs, look." And I wrote them this long, big thing, and then they went extinct. See, you wrote a column, Ken Hamilton, and killed the dinosaurs. Good job.
Way to go.
But
It's all good, though.
it is.
We're not mad.
No, not mad at all. I actually learn a lot, and that's one thing about me that I like, because I don't take anybody off my Facebook, even if I disagree with them. Everybody that I have on there, regardless of their ideology, I probably had differences with, but they're differences that we can sit down and talk about.
You mean to tell me that just because somebody disagrees with you, you don't hate them? Is that what you're saying?
It depends on who that somebody is, because there are people that I will not talk to.
You'll meme the shit out of them.
Well, no, not even that. Like, if I don't mess with somebody, I don't mess with them at all. They don't have no existence in my world.
Don't let them take up space in your head. They don't matter.
And that's exactly what it is, because I'm not a landlord that rents stuff out for free. Unlike New York State landlords, because of Cuomo. But
Thanks, Governor.
Thanks, Governor Cuomo, and CDC guidelines. But
it's all good.
Yeah, it is, and that's the best way to do it. I find that you find the best answers in chaos. I really do, and I think I said that to Tracy Backs one time, or maybe it was Colin. One of them, I said that the best way to find the solution for the overall rather than the few is disagreeing, and two people coming to compromise and meeting in the middle on it. You can never find things out if you stick to your ideal and your group of people that think the same. If you're in,
you mean
an echo chamber reminds me of a condom. That's exactly what I said to one day. Because
nothing ever gets out of it, right?
Nothing gets out of it.
Nothing meaningful ever gets out of it.
No, nothing important ever gets out of it. But a lot of things get stuffed in them. Anyhow, we need to go ahead and get all these. That's what I was saying about the groups earlier. If we get all these groups together and all these groups working on the same page and out of their condoms, we might be able to have a rebirth of Niagara Falls. And that's probably the best way to put it.
And that's what when I was having differences with Miss Romano, that was one of the things I did. I reached out. I'm like, what can we do? We need to get on the same page.
Yes.
Let's sit down and talk, because you're obviously very, stubborn about your point, and I'm trying to listen to figure out what we can do. There was another one, Valentine.
Yeah.
She was giving me the business, and something, like I told her, I said, man, I wish I could get you motivated. Mm-hmm. I want to get on the team with you, because together, if we could get focused on the good things, man, we could accomplish a lot.
And and that's the whole thing, and especially with me. And I like to talk about things, how they can be done, the best way to get things done, but I don't like none of the groups, because I don't fit into none of them. I don't, I've had people say, we should go over and do cleanups with the Niagara Beautification Commission. I should go take pictures with the Niagara Beautification Commission and clean it for 15 minutes. No, it doesn't make sense to me to do that. Like, if we're going to clean, and that was one thing about working with Kenny and Dante and when we were doing the Weed Whacker Mob, none of us got out there to care about who's taking pictures, who got credit for it. We went out there for 5-6 hours sometimes.
You guys had good equipment to work with, too.
Yeah, we definitely did. We had a super serviceman, FBI secret agent guy. He turning damn Michael Myers there? What the hell? No, I know.
Nice day out tonight.
Yeah. But that was one thing I liked about it. And that's one thing that I noticed about a lot of groups around here, is that they'd rather go ahead and take credit for shit that's not being done. Look what we did. We did this and we did that. Bro, I do it every day. Yeah. For 4 years over on 7th Street, I didn't take one picture to post on Facebook. No. My neighbors absolutely adore me in my neighborhood because of the fact that, and I could go out there and be like, hey, take a picture with me holding this broom, and hey, take a picture. No,
it's fake. It takes away the meaning of why you're doing it.
Yeah, are you a good witch or a bad witch?
He said broom.
I am definitely a bad one.
I'm a sandwich.
But he said sandwich.
Sandwich. Who's making?
I didn't say sandwich.
I'm surprised you didn't say sandwich, Jackson. My son
cheeseburger
can eat from the time he wakes up until he goes to bed.
Cheeseburger.
Exactly. He had them before we left today. He ate before you even pulled up. He was eating cheeseburger, fries, and chicken nuggets. That's what he had before. And I will never order from Burger King again because
Oh.
it'll tear me up every
Might
time.
as well eliminate the middleman and just flush it down the toilet.
Oh yeah, definitely. I should just
Go over
burn
here
the
to
money.
Joey's Pizza next door and we would take a pizza home.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good idea.
I
Jackson likes pizza.
see. I can't eat pizza. He can.
That's more for Jackson
I
then.
don't think Jackson eats anything but punishment and bed.
He's still a growing boy.
He is,
Give him that.
and he is. You know, and that's one thing about him though is that all this energy that he's doing right now is because he's bottled up in the house. Because I am afraid to take him out. I'm afraid of, well, not now, but during the whole COVID thing, I didn't want to expose my kids to it. You
Right.
know, and
And then even sometimes when you walk around downtown, you get exposed to other things besides COVID, worse viruses than the COVID virus.
for probably the last 2 years, he's been the driving force behind going out and cleaning up. You know, Jackson would tell me, "Hey, Dad, let's go for our walk."
Well, you had some guys that were going to offer to help you clean up downtown a couple weeks ago, weren't they? When you and Jackson were walking downtown and you had to get him behind you, didn't you have some?
Oh
some
yeah,
people that were
yeah.
gonna-
Well, I don't know if
I
they
think
were.
they were going to help you out. They were going to help clean something. I think they were going to clean out your pockets for you.
I don't know if they were going to clean out my pockets. They might have. Yeah,
They didn't have any good intentions.
they definitely didn't have the health insurance to take care of what was about to happen to him with my baby around.
And unfortunately, that seems to be a growing trend around here. I mean, look at our crime rates; they're not getting any smaller. I think
definitely.
we're on track to
We're at 10.
set another.
We're at 10
gonna come
homicides.
close to getting it again this year.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a sad thing. And like I said in that video that's referring to what you were talking about, what's going to end up happening is that it's going to end up happening to a child, and you're going to end up coming to a group of people, a family without, and they're going to lose their minds.
Well, we'll have to talk about that on the next show.
We
That'll be
definitely
the
will.
topic.
We'll have to bring it up. Maybe this is a good
I'm going to have to start leaving
pairing.
Fridays open, I think.
yeah, I think that would be awesome if that's okay with Peter. We can get a Big Bear session going on every Friday night and get a couple of people in the hot seat. But I personally think this was a great first show.
Absolutely.
Except for Jackson, and even he was somewhat calm because he didn't start screaming like a maniac.
That's
But
good.
if you would like to, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave us a comment below. Let us know what you'd like for us to speak about. And the thing about the whole name, the thing about the name is the eclectic nature that we want to bring to this. The good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, graffiti is art. Art is graffiti. So let's go ahead and use this for an open forum. And I promise you, I'll be the first person to talk shit if you want me to. So
Or meme the hell out of somebody.
we'll definitely be sharing some memes on here. Most definitely be sharing some memes on here.
If you got any ideas,
Well, I have a bunch of ideas, but today was more of this. I just wanted to get comfortable. I'm a terrible public speaker. I don't know if anybody's ever heard me talk at council. I start crying. But
yeah, they don't listen anyway when you get up there. So
we're going to go ahead and plan some things out for next week. Maybe we can get a guest on with us, and we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, folks. Thank you for joining us at Niagara Graffiti, and you'll have a wonderful evening and
night, guys.
weekend.
I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. They fly so high, nearly reach the sky. Then, like my dreams, they fade and die.